San Diego Sports 760. We are back on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. I know Sammy.
Is that a Hangover reference?
Sammy just watched The Hangover last night. So,
well, not for the first time. It was just on.
We are back, and we're gonna get done back. March Madness continuing on San Diego Sports 760 Thursday and Friday afternoon at 4:00 when the Sweet 16 gets underway. Hear all the action right here on your home for the NCAA tournament in San Diego. It's San Diego Sports 760. Man, it was nice when I was driving out to Arizona on Thursday to listen to all the action starting at 9 a.m. That was some fun first two rounds of the NCAA tournament. We'll get more into it a little later on, but I will say this. I got probably two people have texted me, and I got 3 or 4 DMs of pictures from watch parties we had back when the San Diego State Aztecs were on their run for a Final Four, when the year they made the national championship game. And man, that was fun. And I love that all the accounts now, like I saw FanDuel post something about it earlier today of Lamont's shot, like one of the greatest March Madness moments ever. And it stinks the Aztecs aren't in this, because I don't know about you guys, but when I was watching over the weekend, I was like, oh, San Diego State could have hung with a lot of these teams, and it probably would have been better. But whatever, lost opportunity. Maybe next year, right? San Diego State, we'll see if they can get it done then. All right, but for right now, someone's getting it done in the NBA. Victor Wembanyama, if you haven't noticed, he's like 7'2". He's a Frenchman who is dominating the NBA these days. 26 points, 15 rebounds last night. Spurs have now won 22 of their last 24. And here's what Victor Wembanyama said after the game when he was asked about if he ever thinks about the MVP conversation. He said this: I have thought about it, and I think right now there's a debate. There should be. Even though I think I should be the lead in the race, I'm trying to make sure that by the end of the season, there is no debate. I am the MVP. Dude, I love Victor Wembanyama. I'm starting to become a Spurs fan, and this has happened involuntarily. But like last night, I sit down and I'm looking through what I could watch, and Spurs Heat's on, so I click on that. And I'm actually invested in loving it, which hasn't really happened with me in the NBA in a couple of years, I feel like. But watching Victor Wembanyama play, it's so different from anything we're used to. He's this 7'2" giraffe that just kind of floats effortlessly through everything and is making pull-up jumpers, is rebounding, is working hard on defense. Like, I truly do believe Victor Wembanyama could be that guy that the NBA has been waiting for to go full Timothée Chalamet and Dune and be the savior of a universe. Like, the NBA could find its way back to where it was when it was at its peak with behind Victor Wembanyama, and I actually believe that.
Well, yeah, he's Kevin Durant with less of an offensive shooting game arsenal, but
more of a desire to win. Like, when's the last time we actually heard someone talk like this?
Well, I think guys talk like that, but I mean, Wemby's unbelievable. Wemby is a unicorn, and if the only thing that's gonna take Wemby down is injuries, because of his legs. That's the only concern you have. They're so skinny that the second he has a knee injury, his career could go. But Wemby's unbelievable, and the Spurs have built it the right way. I mean, you think about what they've done. They didn't rush to get a superstar alongside Wemby. They didn't go trade all their assets to get Giannis so they can get a big three with Fox and Wemby and Giannis. They just drafted and developed guys. Stephon Castle, who's a superstar at UConn, is now one of the best players in the NBA. Dylan Harper probably will have a similar thing here in a year or two. I mean, Devin Vassell, you got like Keldon Johnson, guys that the average NBA fan doesn't maybe know, but the Spurs have built it the right way. And I think this whole narrative of that the NBA is going for a downturn when Kevin Durant and Curry and LeBron aren't there. I mean, Wemby, superstar. Luka, superstar. Anthony Edwards, superstar. Look at Jason Tatum's back. Tyrese Halliburton's coming back next year. Cade Cunningham. There's a new wave of stars that people have to kind of grow accustomed to. And this year's NBA Finals, whoever comes out of that, like, you're going to build superstars over time by winning in the playoffs. And I think the narrative of that somehow with these guys leaving, it's going to go downhill. There's a lot of guys who are willing to take the mantle after.
The NFL's doing fine, and they lost Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees. Like, that generation of quarterbacks left. New generation of quarterbacks, pretty damn fun. NBA needs to do the same thing. All right, San Diego Sports 760, our Padres insider. His name is Kevin Acee. He joins the show coming up next. Very interesting article on Fernando Tatis Jr. that Kevin wrote today. We'll ask him all about it on the other side at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport's sponsored by the San Diego International Airport. Padres taking on the Tigers. Opening day on Thursday. Tariq Skubal will be going up against Nick Pivetta, who was announced as the Padres starter yesterday. And of course on Thursday as well, we got NCAA tournament action back at it. Sweet 16. Hear that coverage complete through the weekend right here on San Diego Sports 760 starting at 4 o'clock. 4:10 with the first game, Texas and Purdue. Purdue is a 6.5 point favorite in that one. This report has been sponsored by the San Diego International Airport.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John Schaefer is going to take over then. And hey, the award show for fans is back. Our iHeartRadio Music Awards Thursday on Fox and iHeartRadio stations across the country. Tune into Fox 5 this Thursday at 9 a.m. to hear the first award winner announced for the best new artist. Watch the award show live on Fox 5 Thursday at 5 and listen on the free iHeartRadio app. It's San Diego Sports 760. We have a Padres insider. His name is Kevin Acee, and he joins us right now. Hi, Kev.
Hey, Fletch, how you doing, man?
Doing great. How are you? That's weird.
I'm great. This is a little earlier than my text said we were going to do, but that's okay because it works out well for me. So your mistake is actually good for me.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Did I say 1:30?
Yeah, you did.
Sorry, Kev, but I love having you right now, and I wanted to hear your voice earlier.
You know what? The people don't care, but I felt like on this day calling you out publicly, so that's it.
Do you want to wait an hour and we could run this thing back?
No, I just said it worked out well for me. Don't be a baby about it, Fletch.
Okay, yeah. Then let's just get it going. Let's talk about the Padres and opening day, which is coming up in 2 days. Let's talk about the fact that you've spent a ton of time in Arizona and now you're back in San Diego, and we're glad to have you back in San Diego. But Kev, I do want to start with Fernando Tatis Jr. because I don't know if you know this, Kevin, but on the San Diego Union Tribune, you could actually listen to your articles. And I listened to a robot lady mispronounce his name a bunch today because you just wrote a big article about Fernando Tatis Jr. What were your biggest takeaways?
Yeah, I love that lady. I think she also says hit .389. I think that those are always fun.
It's just a bunch of Fernando Tatis Jr.'s.
Listen, Fernando Tatis Jr. is a heck of a player. And my story was about the idea that he is one of the best players on the planet and he thinks he should be better and how that drives him. But it's also a problem because he gets very frustrated. And so the Padres have done a lot of things, including talking to him, surrounding him with certain people and trying to, get the best out of Fernando Tatis Jr. because they think that, that's one of the handful of guys that is, going to determine how they do each season.
Kevin, I got to give you credit because you asked Craig Stammen and followed up when you're like, why are you not announcing who the starter is when everyone knew it was going to be Nick Pivetta? Do you know why? Why did it take so long for them to announce the opening day starter?
The primary reason was the one that was kind of obvious the whole time, though Craig finally answered it, was just, Nick had a little bit of a slowdown. We won't call it a setback. He had some arm fatigue. He missed the start. He had one fewer start than all the other guys. The only other guy in consideration really was Michael King, who made the opening day start last year. He had one fewer start than him. He got 20 pitches fewer in his final start. And so it's like, gosh, how is Nick feeling? How are we going to feel about him going into opening day with, let's say, 80, 85 pitches? I don't think it's a big deal. Ultimately, they didn't think it was a big deal. And they thought that the same guy that they and everybody else knew on the first day of spring training was going to be the opening day starter. They made him the opening day starter.
All right, Kev, Manny Machado, Craig Stammen, maybe on different pages, but in another article that your robot lady read to me, it sounds like Stammen wants to slow him down a little bit this year and maybe not play him as much.
Yeah, and I think that Manny knows that that's the right way to go, though maybe he knows that somewhere down deep inside because that's not Manny Machado. And what got him here is the guy that goes out there every day, and he believes that that's how he best plays. That's how he best helps the team. That's how he best gets the Coopers down. And look, I think everyone knew that this was going to be something this year. Last year kind of got away from the Padres and from Manny, who, the last 2 weeks before his first day off, which I think was like September 14th, he was acknowledging, and that's not something Manny does. He was acknowledging that he was gassed. And so I think everybody knew that coming into this year, more DH days, maybe another day or two off. And I think it'll come earlier this year so that they don't get in a situation that they found themselves in last year where no, we're not playing very well. We need to get some wins here. We need to put our best lineup out there, and whether they're right or wrong, the belief that, 80% of Manny Machado is better than whatever else we put out there. So I absolutely think that Craig Stammen will win this one and that Manny knows that that's the right thing.
What do you make of the Jose Leclerc signing? Obviously was a big piece of the Texas Rangers a few years ago when they won the World Series. They had big plans for him?
I don't think so. I think that it's another very low risk and sort of high reward, or, potentially really high reward. But I haven't had a chance to really find out what it is that they're envisioning. But if people thought Leclerc was going to be back for sure this season and be that guy, then why was he signed on the last day? I mean, it's not like it's prohibitive money. It's not like we're talking Lucas Giolito here. I don't know. I'm a little confused by the idea that there would be this incredibly tremendous upside to him. Now, there might be, but I honestly just think this was a flyer.
Kevin Acee, Union Tribune, our Padres insider. You can find him on YouTube these days at the Padres Collective. You can find all his work of the Union Tribune and have a robot lady read it to you. But Kevin, I do want to take a look real quick at the starting rotation. So Pivetta, King, Vasquez, we kind of all had a feeling that was going to be what it was for months now. But then the last two, with no Joe Musgrove, is it Buehler Marquez? Marquez Buehler? Is there another name I'm not thinking of? What are they doing with the last two?
No, it's Buehler Marquez. I mean, I suppose they could swap those guys, have them go 4-5 or 5-4, whatever. But yeah, it'll be Walker Buehler and Germán Marquez. So look, we can talk about this for an hour. I think you guys should. This is the question/concern of the season, and you can envision it being really good. Pivetta doing exactly what he did last year, if not better. King doing what he did in 24. Randy Vasquez, continuing his upward trajectory. Joe Musgrove coming back and making 24 starts and having a 3-something ERA. Walker Buehler, man, he becomes a true pitcher, and his fastball is, it's okay, but man, this guy, look at the other pitches he's got, and he makes 25 starts, and it's a 3 or below 4 ERA. That sounds like a really good rotation to me. That's a lot of ifs. And where's the depth beyond that? I just don't know. I left Germán Marquez out. Sure, it'd be the same comeback story like Walker Buehler, and that's, but man. So you got Matt Waldron, who probably will get a shot here at some point in April, and then we'll see. And you've got Griffin Canning coming in May, maybe June. Okay, we'll see. And then you've got a new owner who I think there is some optimism that if it's necessary, that will allow the Padres some flexibility to add payroll via a trade, in May or something like that. So, there's some hope there, which there would not be almost certainly if the current ownership group was there, or it would require parting with Cruz Schoolcraft or, something like that. And the Padres think that hopefully they can maybe have a little more payroll flexibility in the middle of the season.
So coming off that, it's expected next couple months we're going to get a sell. Yeah.
Maybe in the next month, probably in the next month, we're going to get one. So, and I just think that I don't like to spend other people's money, even, billionaires, because, it's their money, and also they're the ones who know how to earn it and make more of it. And I respect that. But the fact is, you're buying a Padres team that includes its fan base and includes a very supportive fan base. And that fan base is supportive because you put a good product on the field. So if things aren't going well, like I think that it would behoove the new owner to come in and do something about it. And the easy way to do that, because I assume if things aren't going well, it has to do with the quality of innings they're getting out of their starting pitching. I mean, it could be anything else. That's the beauty of this game. Starting Thursday, we get to see why it is the Padres are awesome or why the Padres are awful.
Paul Skeens to the Padres. Kevin Acee just confirmed it. I like it a lot, Kev. I really do at the trade deadline. All right, before we get you out of here, Kevin, really quickly, and that was a joke. Don't clip that. But when you look at Craig Stammen versus Mike Shildt, and it's an uncomfortable thing to do sometimes to compare people, but where do you think Craig Stammen can excel where Mike Shildt maybe faltered?
Well, I'll give you this Manny Machado situation. One of the reasons that Craig was hired was his self-assurance, his relationship building ability, and the relationships and the sway that he holds with people like Manny Machado, who was his teammate. And I can't possibly express to you the level of confidence that Craig Stammen speaks with when he's convicted about something. And that's how he then portrays it in the clubhouse, in his office, on the field. Do I have any idea how good of a manager he's going to be or their success? No. What I'm telling you is he has all the makeup of a guy to handle a clubhouse and to make tough decisions and make players believe in it. Now, I have to tell you, Mike Shildt is the first Padres manager in history to have back-to-back 90-win seasons, win 183 games in a two-season span. Mike Shildt did a heck of a job. There were times where Mike Shildt deferred to players on some things that were detrimental to the Padres. He was a player's manager to a fault. And so whether Craig Stammen is as successful as Mike Shildt, because it would be difficult to be as successful as Mike Shildt, who's made the playoffs every full season he's managed, I don't know. But you asked me the difference between those two guys, and that's the one that strikes and jumps out to me and is obvious from the start.
I like it. Good stuff, Kev. And really, you should give a raise to the robot lady who reads your article. She does a good job.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you are finding the time to have her read those to you. And I do thank you. Now try to read your texts more carefully.
Okay. Yeah, maybe just have her start reading them to me, and I'd do a better job.
Take care, guys.
Bye, Kevin.
Later.
Acee, Padres Insider.
The Padres Report was this Padres Report with Kevin Acee is brought to you by Jamul Casino Resort. Hey, players, this is all yours. Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place. How about that? That's called voicing and ending. What is that called? A shell for an interview?
I think that's a billboard.
It's a billboard. It's a billboard. I just voiced that for everyone.
You did a great job, Sammy, and bragging about it after the fact makes it even better. All right. Now, last time I did a show on this station was last Wednesday. And when I was done, we were long shot winners.
Yeah. So
how did we do last night?
So let's focus on the weekend. The weekend hit a four-legger in college basketball.
Dude, that basically paid for my Arizona trip, by the way. Thank you, Sammy.
Yeah, we everyone was eating good. Yesterday, there was a little bit of a regression to the mean. I don't look at it as a failure. I look at it as a little bit more of Taylor Fritz, the local kid, didn't come through this morning. And
that's the text line. I get it now.
The Lakers, I thought the under on the Spurs Heat game, the Lakers didn't come through.
Shocker. Sammy bet Lakers and it didn't win.
By the way,
surprise.
By the way, I hit the Lakers last week against Houston, and you all know you sold the parlay for a lot of people going against. So if what we're hearing is that over the weekend I hit a four-legger, I lose a three-legger last night, we're meant to have a four-legger today.
Let's get it going. Long shots coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John Schaefer's going to be taking over then. Dan Hurley, the head coach of the Yukon Huskies, almost the head coach of Sammy's Los Angeles Lakers at one point.
Thank God.
I kind of love it every time he opens up his mouth and talks because he just pisses off his own fan base every time he does. Did you see what Dan Hurley is asking?
He wants St. John, or he wants Yukon fans to root for St. John's against Duke,
and for St. John's fans to root for Yukon
so they can meet in the Elite Eight.
That's gonna go over well.
He just says so much. Like, it's like, why would you? First off,
so if you don't know, like Yukon and St. John's, they hate each other. These are like Dodgers Giants back in the day. This is Raiders Chiefs back in the, like these are fan bases that are oil and milk.
You know what it sounds like?
Tell me.
He doesn't want to play the Duke Blue Devils.
That's what I was going to say. It sounds like he's scared of Duke.
Here's the thing. Dan Hurley shouldn't worry about that because Michigan State and Tom Izzo are beating them. That will be a part of long shots later on this week. So Dan Hurley, the Yukon Huskies, take the name brand alone, have not looked that great through the first 2 games of this tournament.
I'll tell you who looks amazing on the other hand, St. John's. Like St. John's may get past Duke, and it has nothing to do with Dan Hurley, but Rick Pitino has those boys playing some.
The problem is everyone's going to bet St. John's because of what they saw against Kansas. In Kansas,
Stephen A. Smith going to, I got St. John's in my Final Four.
Well, yeah, of course, because he's from New York. But like Kansas, didn't have any other scores. They don't have other elite scores. So,
oh yeah, are you okay? Sorry, I just kind of threw that out there.
Yeah, it was a tough Sunday.
It was a good fight.
It was kind of worse that they came all the way back just to let El Marco Jackson let him get directly to the cup, but that's a story for another day.
Did Darren Peterson do enough to secure his spot as the number 1 pick in the draft?
Well, here's the thing. I think he's going to fall, and they're going to go with, you're hearing all this, but a cup, maybe a 2, maybe a 1. I mean, it's not Peterson's fault, though. Like, Peterson, Kansas, everyone's killing Darren Peterson about, he missing games during the season, didn't take over against St. John's. It's like no one on Kansas could hit a shot besides Darren Peterson. They were doubling him every time he got the ball. So Darren Peterson, if he falls, someone in the lottery is going to get a big time player.
I will say, I think my bracket that I have with you, Sammy, is terrible, awful, god awful. But my bracket that I have with the little app that you and I use during this segment every single day is actually kind of cooking. Like I may actually win some money in their national contest.
Really?
Yeah, which is pretty sweet. And I got St. John's going pretty far. So hopefully they keep going. All right. Well, let's get to long shots for today. Sammy Long rips through some of the best combinations you can place.
Best things you can trade on in the
best trades you can make in the world of sports.
I'm like a stockbroker at $12.50 every day.
This is just basically, this is your 401k every day.
It's like San Diego Sports. Yeah, I mean, if an investment banker wants to endorse it, feel free.
Sammy, smash.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Say that me and his man.
With long shots.
Are there any perfect brackets left?
No, they're done.
I thought I saw there might be one out there.
I think they're gone.
It'd be kind of amazing if there was. All right, Sammy, where are we going?
All right, we're going to the NBA in the Miami ATP Miami. Taylor Fritz, the local kid, did not come through for us today. Terrible third set from Taylor, but it's okay. Taylor's going to break through one of these days, and it will be glorious, and we will have him on the show. But, all right, we're going to start with the association. So, couple games going on tonight. We got 4 games as I pull them up right now. All right, let's start with Magic Cavs. So this is a big number. Like the Cavs are favored by 10.5, and I get it. The Magic are missing some of their key pieces. Franz Wagner not playing in this game. Jonathan Isaac is out. Anthony Black, Jalen Suggs. So they're missing a lot at the guard spot. But Jarrett Allen is also out for Cleveland. And I think an underrated part of the Orlando Magic that people don't talk about, because you have Franz Wagner and Mo Wagner, Paolo Banchero, got a lot of talented wing players and guards. They have a pretty nice front court that doesn't get talked about a lot. Wendell Carter Jr. is a very underrated player, and Goga Batadze also kind of spells him coming off the bench. So the way Cleveland plays basketball, it's a lot of inside out. You have Harden and Donovan Mitchell controlling it at the top, but they really play through Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. And I think with Jarrett Allen out in this game, you're going to be able to see Orlando at least keep this thing close. I don't know that they win. That might be a tall task considering Suggs and Anthony Black are out tonight, but 10.5 points is way too much. This Orlando Magic team is pretty good. Give me Orlando plus 10.5 on the road. All right, Nuggets Suns tonight on the road in Phoenix. Give me the Nuggets minus 5.5. Listen, I know they don't play a lot of defense, but we're looking at who's out for the Phoenix Suns. The only person that's out for Denver is Peyton Watson. And for the Phoenix Suns, Haywood Highsmith out. Very good defender in his regard. Dylan Brooks out with a hand injury. Excellent defender. Royce O'Neal's a game-time decision. Amir Coffey's also out. A lot of the wing defenders that you need to beat the Denver Nuggets are not playing tonight for the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns have been faltering a little bit lately. They're an interesting team to kind of pick because Jalen Green and Devin Booker can pop off on any given night. But Denver, I think, looking for a little get back. They have an easy schedule down the stretch here. They're trying to catch the Lakers. Going to be tough for them because they do not have the tiebreaker. But I think Denver gets this done on the road tonight, minus 5.5. I just don't think the Phoenix has enough for them. All right, and then these two picks kind of depend on what app you're using. So I'm going to give you a couple selections and you can choose from them. If you use a certain app in Kalshi, you can't always get this, but other apps will allow it. All right. In the ATP Miami, Yannick Sinner taking on Alec Mickelson. Michelson, excuse me. He is a talented American player, not ranked. Here's the problem. He has a lot of power, but Yannick Sinner's game neutralizes power hitters. He is an excellent, he's maybe the best, even better than Carlos Alcaraz at his return game. I think he smokes Michelson in 2 sets. In 2 sets. Yannick Sinner in Miami, they're only playing 3 sets because it's not a major. I think he wins this one 1-2 later on today. So if you get some value there of Yannick Sinner winning it in straight sets, and then of course, it wouldn't be a selection if we didn't go to Francis Tiafoe and Terrence Hotman. Tiafoe's going to win this match. He's minus 218. So if you want to add it to a parlay, Francis Tiafoe has been playing fantastic recently. He got beat last week in Indian Wells, but was making a little bit of a run, pulled off a couple upsets, been playing very good since the U.S. Open last year. But he's coming off a grueling match the other day where he was actually an underdog, and that went deep into the 3rd set. Terrence Hotman, I think he covers the spread at plus 2.5. I think he does steal a set from Francis Tiafoe, but Tiafoe wins at the end of the day. So whatever combination you like of that, I think Tiafoe wins, but if you can also get Hotman at plus 2.5 sets, I think that is a good bet as well. And Yannick Sinner to win in straight sets because there's really no value with him on the money line.
All right, well done. We got 4 of them.
4 of them.
A little forzy. How about it? All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. That was Long Shots with Sammy Long. Thank you, Sammy. He made us all some money over the weekend. Our buddy Tyler on YouTube says, how's the season-long NBA Long Shots looking? We don't talk about that, Tyler. Not
because you know why we don't talk about it? Because Ben Fletcher sold it by going under on Cooper Flag points per game.
We are 1 of 6 right now, Sammy. That is 1 pick. So there's also 5
not true.
others that are wrong.
Luka was over.
Luka is the one that's currently working. I just looked at it 5 seconds ago.
Well, I blame you for betting the under on Cooper Flag points per game.
Şengün is too low on rebounds. Giannis is too low on points per game. Anthony Edwards is too low on 3-pointers made per game. Like it's awful. Luka's the only one that's doing anything.
Luka comes through for us. Next year, I promise you, we're not picking Cooper Flag under on points per game.
Don't say that it was all me when half of them.
I think we should blame Ben Fletcher.
Okay. It's San Diego Sports 760. Hour number 2 coming up next live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by AutoZone. Padres get going here. Opening day on Thursday gets going at 1:10. Tariq Skubal going for the Tigers. Nick Pivetta going for the Padres. Currently Detroit is a -137 on the favorite on the road here in San Diego. And coverage of the NCAA tournament gets back going on Thursday at 4:00. Hear that right here on San Diego Sports 760. Texas and Purdue is the first game there. The support has been sponsored by AutoZone.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
Well, don't keep us in suspense any longer. Show us what you got.
We're getting closer to opening day. Are you ready yet? The Lakers' win streak has snapped. Plus,
Lakers -1.5 tonight, continuing the streak against the Detroit Pistons.
so close I can taste it.
I like the under on the San Antonio and Miami Heat game, under 242.5.
What is wrong with you?
I like Taylor Fritz money line -218 against Yuri Lahaka.
I think this actually totally sucks.
Hurry back, Fletch. Sammy needs the support. All that and more as we react to it from the studios of San Diego Sports 760 inside the Fletch Zone.
It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John Schaefer going to be taking over then. We got a pair of tickets burning a hole in our pocket for you to go see Slightly Stupid on June 13th at Petco Park. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Hang on for the next 10 minutes and you're going to get a crack at that pair of tickets. I've seen Slightly Stupid in concert before. It was a very dense air around where I saw them perform. That
There was some weed smoking going on.
Yeah, you like kind of were chewing the air that was around you. And there may have been some contact situation going on out in Avila Beach in San Luis Obispo. But awesome concert.
First time I was ever around marijuana, Motley Crue at Sleep Train Amphitheater when I was about 12 years old.
Attaboy. And how'd it feel?
I asked my my parents and my uncle, I was like, it smells really good. What is that leafy smell? They're like, that is called marijuana.
It smells like a skunk's butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it smells really good. Sammy's into some weird stuff. We've talked about it before. But all right, here we go.
Don't say weird stuff after saying skunk's butt.
You're the one who said it smells good.
What, weed doesn't smell good?
It smells like a skunk's butt is what it smells like oftentimes. All right, as we get going here on hour number 2, the Slightly Stupid concert will be awesome. They actually have one of my favorite reggae songs ever, Mona Joan. But Manny Machado, we talked about it a little bit with Kevin Acee. Sounded like him and Craig Stammen are maybe on a little bit of a different page here heading into the season, where Craig Stammen is acknowledging what needs to happen, which is Manny Machado needs to rest more throughout this regular season. And Manny Machado's kind of saying, nah, I'm going to do what I always do and play 150 plus games and work my way into Cooperstown the old fashioned way. Now, it's interesting if you dive into the numbers. And I think this is the way to make Manny Machado understand, because there was a clip last year where Manny Machado was putting up normal Manny Machado numbers and he was hitting in the 320s. He had power early on in the season. And then there was a dramatic fall off and it came around the 140 game mark, which he had played all 140 games. And we thought going into the year last year that Manny Machado was going to get a significant amount of time at DH. That didn't really happen. He was playing everyday third base more often than not. So heading into this year, Padres fans, I'm curious, and text us 70470, start your message with team. Are you fine with Manny missing like one game a week? Because I'll be honest, maybe load management needs to hit Manny Machado.
Well, this is where, just like it was a concern when JJ Redick got the job at the Lakers, when Craig Stammen is on the manager of the Padres, when you have first-time managers, it's a lot more than just who you bring in the bullpen in the 7th inning. It's conversations like this. And this is what I'm curious to see after the first couple weeks of the season. The first couple weeks, everyone's going to be excited. Padres baseball's back. We're not looking at standings yet. But when you get a month or two in the season, you start seeing some separation between teams. Remember, Craig Stammen was teammates with a lot of these guys and was a player not too long ago. So can you sit down and have the tough conversations with star players where, per all reports, Machado and Tatis and people love Craig Stammen. That's great. But that also can be a crutch. You also have to lay the law down. Like Jeff Saturday was talking about this, I remember, on PTI, when all the rumors of Phillip Rivers potentially getting an NFL job. It's not just can you call plays. It's can Nick Sirianni go tell AJ Brown, get off the live stream. I don't want to see that again or you're gone. Like those are the kind of things that a head coach, a manager, whoever is in charge has to deal with. And I'm curious, this is where the Padres and Manny Machado, obviously one of the faces of the team, if not the face of the team. Can you have a hard conversation with Manny that he's not going to like and you'll get backed up on it? because this is where the ownership comes into play. When you have ownership says one thing, it's end of story. But when the owners right now are currently selling the team, probably not in the midst of the day-to-day of whether Manny Machado should be playing on April 12th. I mean, can AJ Preller and Craig Stammen really run this team, or is Craig Stammen more of a puppet for just the Padres and their stars?
One, I think that a part of the Padres fans' complaints are that maybe over the last couple of years, Manny Machado was the most influential person in the dugout. Are you okay with handing that over to Craig Stammen? And you would be looking at Manny Machado for that. And yes, Manny can say all the nice things he wants about Craig Stammen as a player, how he was already basically a coach when he was a player. But are you willing to hand that control over to him, because they're in a better spot if it's coming from Craig Stammen than Manny Machado? And we'll see. Maybe that's the fate of the Padres this year. 619 texting into the show saying a true leader would claim responsibility when his team doesn't do well, whether it's deserved or not. It's honestly disappointing that Fletch won't take that lead on long shots. Man up, Fletch.
Man up, Fletch.
Look, yes, it's all my fault. Every time it doesn't work, it's my fault. Every time it does work, it's Sammy's fault.
Exactly.
I'm okay with
that's
that.
how it goes. I mean, someone has to take blame, and it's like gambling is this.
Yep.
When you hit bets,
this is about to be biblical, folks. So listen up.
Listen up. This is like prophecy right now. When you win a bet, when you win a parlay, it's because you know more and are more educated and saw things that everyone else didn't see.
Of course.
When you lose a trade or a bet, it's due to circumstances that were out of your control and things that you couldn't that you couldn't know when you were making the selection.
Slightly Stupid tickets in 4 minutes. 858 asking for a rerun of long shots. We'll do that in 7 minutes. But time for the big three, where Sammy rips through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends?
I mean, coworkers.
It's time for the top stories of the day. The big three.
And text line, is it a consensus? Stammen will be a puppet. Nope, Stammen's their friend. Yeah, all right. So, okay, that's how the Padres fans feel about it as of right now. We'll see if anything changes. Sammy, where do you want to start?
Let's head to the NFL. So, I mean, what would it not be if it was a spring and summer without Aaron Rodgers news?
Sure.
Come on now. Mike McCarthy, when asked about a potential reunion with Aaron Rodgers if he's back in Pittsburgh, he said it would be a, quote, great story. Mike McCarthy said it would be a great story if him and Aaron Rodgers were reunited. The question is it? Is it a great story?
I don't think so. I mean, I kind of feel similarly about both of them. Like, we've seen enough. We're probably done. You know, earlier in the show, you talked about, Sammy, the NBA and how the next generation of superstars, it's their time and they need to step up and take the mantle. And people are concerned that it's not going to be as good as the Steph, LeBron, Kobe, whatever days. I kind of feel like Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy are the last remaining pieces of the last era of the NFL. And we've kind of all moved on, except for somehow Pittsburgh, who is also stuck in it. And so for Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy, Mike McCarthy's on team number 3 now. Aaron Rodgers on team number 3 now as well. I think we've seen enough from both of them. And maybe the league would be better off if we just close the chapter on that book entirely. But sure, Mike, it can be a great story if you want it to be. I just don't think it is.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy, I mean, this is Pittsburgh not evolving. The coaches that are successful in the NFL evolve with the times, don't get stuck in their ways. And Mike McCarthy, maybe 15 years ago, was a top-tier coach at the league. Except it's not 15 to 17 years ago. I mean, it's like Aaron Rodgers. Can he win you some games? Yeah. But that's not, Steeler fans don't want to win games. They want to win Super Bowls. This is a proud organization that has a history of winning, and yet it's been the epitome of mediocrity for the last 10 years. The last playoff win was 2016 against the Chiefs. I mean, that's how long, it has been 10 years since the Pittsburgh Steelers won a playoff game. It just feels like they're stuck on their ways, and I know you weren't too happy with the Mike McCarthy hire. I didn't understand that. You have the Ravens going with a young gun and Jesse Minter and Stefanski going to Atlanta. You got young coaches flying around, and you go with a veteran who's been off for a little while. And then Aaron Rodgers. I don't know how many times you keep running this thing back, thinking that Aaron Rodgers is going to break through. He didn't even win when he was in his prime. He has one Super Bowl and a lot of playoff underachievements. I don't get the whole Aaron Rodgers
playoff losses to the Niners. That's what he has. What's next, Sam?
Yeah. All right. So on the ESPN list of kind of preview opening day, all 30 teams, Dodgers are obviously the favorite. They're tier 1, cut above everyone else. In tier 2 is the biggest threat to the Dodgers' throne. So coming at number 2 is the Mariners. Number 3 is the Yankees. Number 4 is the Blue Jays. 5 is the Phillies, 6 is the Mets, 7 is the Cubs, and then so that's the top tier teams that are a threat to the Dodgers per ESPN. What team do you think is the biggest threat to the Dodgers, and do you think there's a team that's not in that list that should be in that list?
Not to go full Steve Hartman on it, but I do think the biggest threat to the Dodgers is the Dodgers, and I think they kind of found a cheat code to work around it. They don't use their pitchers during the regular season, at least not a lot. Like, they are the epitome of load management in Major League Baseball, except guys are just hurt for 2 or 3 months at a time, and they keep them fresh, and then they get to the postseason and they'll be fully fresh. That's not to say they're automatically going to win the World Series this year. In fact, if I had a straight up bet right now that someone was asking me to make where it was either the Dodgers or the field for the World Series, I could probably convince you to take the field, because baseball is weird and weird things happen in baseball. And it's not always the best team that just goes out and wins. Yes, the Dodgers are the best team. No, there's nobody else that's even close to them right now. But in a 7-game series, anyone can beat them. Who gets hot? Is there problems in the Dodgers clubhouse? Does Dave Roberts make some silly mistakes? He's definitely prone to them. So, yes, I do think the Dodgers belong at the top, and they're fantastic, and they're great, and everyone's going to heap all the praise, and they're going to get all the primetime games. And Joe Davis highlights are going to be ringing in our ears till the cows come home, and it's going to be annoying as hell. But once you get to that moment in the postseason, there is absolutely a chance they don't even make the World Series, and there's absolutely a chance they don't win the World Series. Because other teams are pretty damn good.
Well, the Padres had him on the ropes 2 years ago, and the Blue Jays had him on the ropes last year. So, while the Dodgers should be a favorite, I mean, there's a lot here that the baseball is a weird playoff, and that it's not always the best team doesn't win. I do think, though, in terms of who are the biggest threats, the Mets on paper have the star power. I know they struggled a little bit last year. Lindor, Soto, the pitching staff should.
I like the Blue Jays a lot too, by the way.
Yeah, the Blue Jays, we're just forgetting about them. The one team, though, I would say the Mets. I think the Phillies are a little bit overrated. We're still going off name brands of Harper and Turner, guys like that.
Mets are going to choke. They always choke.
I think the Boston Red Sox are a team that's going to surprise a lot of people this year. You got Garrett Crochet. You add Ranger Suarez to that rotation. Roman Anthony taking on more of a star, potential all-star this year. Marcelo Mayer. I mean, you got a lot of guys. They've been waiting with some of their top prospects for years. They all kind of came up last year, but they were a little bit not too far back in the standings, but to make a big run late in the year. I think the Red Sox have a real opportunity to surprise a lot of people in that division this year. I think the Red Sox could be a team that could sneak their way to the World Series.
All right, you got another one for us? Or
we'll save it for the other side.
Okay. Well, there's also a text here I want to react to on the other side about the leaked City Connect jerseys. I don't know if you saw those, Sammy, but we can talk about them in a second here. It is San Diego.
How much money are you spending on that?
Well, we don't even know if it's the real jersey yet. It may be. Maybe the reaction from the public is going to make him go to the drawing board. We don't know. Right now, your chance to win a pair of tickets to go see Slightly Stupid at Gallagher Square coming up on June 13th. Gallagher Square, Petco Park. Tickets and info, Ticketmaster.com. If you want to go see Slightly Stupid, call right now, 877-767-4760. How about we go with caller number 13 for Manny Machado's number, since we were talking to Manny earlier at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Thursday, our 2026 iHeartRadio Music Awards are coming back live on Fox. Watch as we honor the biggest stars from all genres of music that you love listening to all year long on the free iHeartRadio app, hosted by Luda. You can watch live on Fox Thursday at 5. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app. Brian won those Slightly Stupid tickets.
Yeah.
Man, I was just looking through. They got some hits, and they're from Ocean Beach, I think. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Slightly Stupid, they got started in Ocean Beach here in San Diego. But man, they got some 2 a.m. Collie Man. They got some fun ones. Mona June, which is one of my wife's favorite songs.
Okay.
Shout out to Kendall, 4-year wedding anniversary tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got big plans?
Well, I got dinner reservations. I definitely have a gift already purchased that I bought with money and paid for, and I'm going to give to her tomorrow. Still need to figure out what that's going to be.
Isn't it your birthday on Friday?
It is. Yeah, it's actually my brother's birthday tomorrow, our wedding anniversary tomorrow, my birthday on Friday.
Is he a little annoyed that you decided to have your wedding anniversary on his birthday?
Our wedding was on his birthday. That's how the wedding anniversary thing works with it. We were trying
That's what I'm saying. You had your wedding on his birthday.
So if the whole story goes, we had a wedding date picked in 2021 that got canceled because of COVID. Because they wouldn't allow dancing at the wedding, and we said, screw that.
Oh, that'd be a problem. That would suck.
Then we fast forward.
It's like Footloose, like no dancing.
Yeah, we were like, well, the only way we get to keep our deposit is if we have the wedding at this venue. What are your available dates in 2022? And they had one available date, and it was March 25th. So that is our wedding anniversary, which is also my brother's birthday, and he was the best man, so he loved it. He said, you threw me a $35,000 birthday party. That's the nicest thing anyone could have ever done.
Shout out to little bro or big bro?
Big bro. Big bro, who's little bro in a lot of ways, but big bro. It is San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2:00. John Schaefer is going to be taking over then. Hey, real quick. So we got into this conversation a little bit before, but when you do look at the Dodgers this year and then everybody else, it can get frustrating leading into a season. Remember, Jeff Passan had that whole article out about the fact that there's fan bases who feel like they don't have any hope heading into this year. And I think that that's a silly narrative, and I think we need to buck that trend almost immediately. They do have a super powerful team. They do have a very good roster, a great starting pitching rotation, even though Roki Sasaki's probably not even going to be a part of it. But you look at the Dodgers.
He's just struggling in spring training recently.
I know. It's kind of fascinating that.
But they're trying to make him a starter, and he's a better bullpen piece. It doesn't make any sense. They keep trying to make him a starter when he's not a starter.
How funny was that era though, where there was like 5 teams who were like, if we don't get Roki Sasaki, the Padres are one of them. Like we failed on this year's off season, and then the Dodgers get him and they don't even use him, and he's not even that good. So
he's good, but he's good as a bullpen piece.
Right. But the narrative going into a season should not ever be in any sport that one team is just going to rip it and run it, because things happen during a baseball season. And the Dodgers, look, Dave Roberts is a good manager. Would anyone say he's a great manager? I don't know that you would. In fact, it feels like every other year the Dodgers are thinking about firing him. So things can happen here. And I just think even with the Padres, you look up and down their roster, it's like they have the names to compete. They just don't have the depth to compete. But does that mean all of a sudden anyone should just give up? I think that's anti-sport.
I don't think people should give up. And again, baseball is a lot like hockey. It's if you have a hot goaltender, if you have hot pitchers, you can do a lot of damage when you aren't necessarily the more talented team. I mean, again, I go back to that Diamondbacks team. I know they got shellacked in the World Series by the Rangers, but that team had no business being in the World Series. I mean, none at all. Went through the Dodgers, went through the Phillies. But when you have Merrill Kelly getting hot and Zach Gallen, I mean, you had 2 ace pitchers that no one could hit off of. People should have hope. I mean, the Padres had them on the ropes. It's more on the Padres that they didn't close out the Dodgers.
24 straight scoreless innings.
I mean, again, people are like the Dodgers are unstoppable. You know, in that game 5, the Dodgers only scored 2 runs. The Padres bats were just so pathetic that they couldn't do anything about it. If you would have told anyone in San Diego, Yu Darvish would give up 2 runs at Dodger Stadium, be like, oh, they're moving on. The Blue Jays had them on the ropes. There were countless times in that game 7, whether it was the Andy Pajes catch or the home run by Miguel Rojas or the throw home, where it looked like the Dodgers weren't going to be there. So there's a lot of hope for a lot of fan bases. I think where the Padres come in is it feels a little bit like Rifkin and I were talking about this yesterday. It's like the definition of insanity. You do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. And I feel like that's a lot what this team does is they run it back with the same core group of guys. and they've shown you that they sell a lot of tickets. They can win a lot of ball games in the regular season, but that doesn't necessarily equate to winning in the postseason. And every year we're sitting here talking about if they can get in, if they could get hot at the right time. And the dirty secret is a lot of the times it's the stars that haven't come through in the biggest moments, as evidenced by Machado and Tatis going 2 for 22. So to say all that, a lot of teams have hope to beat the Dodgers. The Dodgers are not some unbeatable juggernaut, but it just feels like from a Padre perspective, you see the Diamondbacks and the Giants trying to get better, and it feels like the Padres are just it's a lot of status quo right now. And I think that it's good enough to win you a lot of games, but I don't know if they got better.
Now, here's the one thing that can change just about everything, in my opinion. If Fernando Tatis Jr. reaches some of his potential this year.
Right.
If he takes that step from being the guy who we saw, was it 2019, his rookie season, I think? I remember I was at that opening day. I saw Fernando Tatis Jr.'s first career hit. Can he get back to the guy who everyone around baseball stopped and turned and said, what is that? What's happening in San Diego? Because they got this rookie phenom who looks like he's about to take over the league. I think if you would have asked a lot of those people back then, they would have said by the time 2026 rolled around, Fernando Tatis Jr. is the unquestioned best player in baseball. Can he get back some of that in this year? I thought he said all the right things. Kevin Acee had a big sit-down interview with Fernando Tatis Jr. You can read it on the Union Tribune's website. It's a good read. And Fernando seems like he's in a better headspace now than he was a year ago at this time. And I would also say, I think Craig Stammen is also saying the right things. Talking about, we're trying to keep Fernando in that headspace where he's positive and he's flowing a little bit. And he's not #pouty Nando like our YouTube chat likes to say. So if the Padres can do that for him this year, and if Fernando Tatis Jr. takes a little bit of the onus on it and understands he himself that, hey, I just got to nut up and be a little bit better here, that changes a lot for me. In fact, that 83.5 win total that the Padres have in Las Vegas right now, if you're telling me I get Fernando Tatis Jr. like 3/4 of what he was just a few years ago, they're going over that win total. He's that type of player.
But people who have doubts about that have reason for doubt.
Absolutely.
That's where this season's going to be made or broken, because Craig, there's going to be points. Last year was the epitome of a Padre season. They start out 14-3. Unbelievable. Vibes are high. People are going crazy in the city. Best record in baseball.
Nando had like the second best odds to win MVP at
right. He was unbelievable. Then they go through the lull in June where they're playing 500 baseball, and in July. That's where I'm curious where Craig Stammen comes in. Like, how do you, because Fernando Tatis is such a vibes player. When things are going great, it is unbelievable to watch. When it's going bad, it is hard to watch at times. And a lot can be said for Manny Machado, a lot of these guys. Now, Jackson Merrill being hurt for large portions of last year certainly played into it, but health is going to be a big factor this year. And number two, when things get rough in a long baseball season, because it's going to be. Again, the Dodgers last year when they won the World Series, when they got swept by the Angels twice, the LA Times, our sister station AM 570, was eviscerating them. I'm curious how Craig Stammen handles the adversity.
Tatis was very honest. He was very open in this article with Kevin, where he talked about you definitely get in your head because you're just searching for an answer. You're searching for where's that click, where's the difference maker. You definitely get in your head. He's got to figure out a way to get out of his head this year. Just have fun playing baseball, man, because that's when he's at his best. Coming up next, are Cinderella stories dead in March Madness? Are the mid-majors dead in March Madness? Do you need $10 million for a roster to get to a Sweet 16? We'll tell you on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
Sport is sponsored by the San Diego International Airport. Star linebacker Levante David has retired as one of the Bucs' all-time great, all-time leading player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Padres get going on Thursday on opening day. Starting the opening day starter has been announced. Nick Pivetta taking on Tariq Skubal for the Detroit Tigers. Detroit is currently a slight favorite at -137 on opening day. That game gets going at 110. And our college basketball Sweet 16 coverage starts again at 4:00 on Thursday. First game of the afternoon will be Texas and Purdue. This report has been sponsored by the San Diego International Airport.
San Diego Sports 760 and Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John Schaefer is going to take over then. Did you see Jared Calhoun took the Cincinnati job, which we all thought he would, but that's another just 2 and done for Utah State. Jared Calhoun was fantastic at Utah State, man, but they were second round bounce in the NCAA tournament. So Jared Calhoun moving his way on. And I think Utah State's a pretty good watermark for most mid-majors in this year's tournament. High Point was a fun story. VCU was a fun story, but no mid-majors left as we enter into the round of 16, the Sweet 16. And somebody did a breakdown of all the NIL money. I don't think there's a single team left that spent less than $6 million.
Iowa's the lowest at 6.2.
So 6.2 million is the lowest. And then at the high end, you have the Michigans and the Dukes of the world who are up near $16 million at some point. But so you look up and down, and is that the only way forward in the future? I would say this year has not been nearly as chalky as last year was. Last year's tournament was just favorites winning pretty much everything. But day 2 of the NCAA tournament, only favorites won. Now we have the Texas as an 11 seed. We had the drama of High Point, which was a ton of fun. Man, Vanderbilt almost got it done. But you do look up and down this NCAA tournament, and it's more chalky than most years, less chalky than last year. So is that just the future of the NCAA tournament? Are Cinderella's dead? That is the question going around today. And in a larger sense, it's, are mid-majors dead? Will we ever see a mid-major program go on a run like San Diego State win on in 2023? Or is that even out of the realm of possibility anymore? Pretty good evidence that it might be true.
I mean, yeah, I think so. I think the NIL is obviously widened the gap. And we saw teams be close with top tier teams. You had Furman hang with UConn for a little while, Siena with Duke. Siena starters outplayed Duke. The problem is they played Siena starters the entire game, and Duke's got bench players in Gangba.
Duke still should have lost that game.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy that they were able to get the win.
They have guys coming off the bench. Caden Boozer typically comes off the bench for Duke. He was a 4-star recruit, 5-star recruit, something like that. So this is where the disparity of the Sienas, the Furmans, they just get outlasted. But I think people look at this the wrong way. Like, I'm much more excited because a lot of people, everyone tunes in for the first weekend of March Madness, and when their brackets are gone, a lot of people tune out unless your college is still in it. The matchups that we get this weekend, like, I would love to see Arizona, Michigan in the Final Four. And that's one seed, but that's going to be a great basketball game that you could make a case either way, and it's going to be probably a 1-point, 2-point spread in Vegas either way. Like, I don't need to see, although it's fun when we see the St. Peter's or we see the Fairleigh Dickinsons or the UMBCs pull out these massive upsets over the years. They do that, and at some point, all those teams get found out. I believe St. Peter's got beat in the Elite Eight, and they went on a little bit of a run. But from even a gambling perspective, Vegas tells you a lot. I don't want to see a 20-point spread in the Elite Eight. And that's what it would be if Duke somehow, let's say Furman had beat UConn and Duke was playing Furman in the Elite Eight. That's what that would be, a 20-25-point spread. It's just, I think the fact that we get more blue-blooded matchups, I get mid-majors are pissed off. And if you went to that school, you probably are frustrated too. But I'd rather see the guys that are going to be playing at the next level in the NBA, and it leads to much better matchups down the stretch here than watching some school that nobody's ever heard of that, while it's fun for a little while, are going to get found out at the end of the day.
Now, here's where it was great, and this is unfortunately just dead, is 10, 15 years ago, you would have teams that could build a program and have a group full of seniors that rose through it together. They went as freshmen all the way through their senior year with the same school. that didn't get poached by any sort of NIL or transfers. And they stayed with the same place and got good enough by the time they were seniors and experienced enough to go compete with the top teams in the country. And they would, and we wouldn't get big blowouts in the NCAA tournament. The first couple of rounds would be a lot closer and it would be true madness. That's what's kind of left. Because now if you have a kid who's at a mid-major program his freshman year, instead of staying through his senior year and building a great squad at one school, most likely if he's good enough, he's getting poached and he's riding the bench at Duke. He's riding the bench somewhere else.
Look at Nick Boyd.
Yeah, he's a great example.
Florida Atlantic. That team went on a great run as I believe they were a 9 seed, taking on San Diego State as a 5. San Diego State immediately goes and recruits him. So all these schools, when they go on runs, their head coach is immediately getting Siena, Jerry McNamara, the former Syracuse, played for Syracuse for a couple of years. Now is the head coach there. So, and they didn't even win the game.
But just to think about that process and go further down the line, had Nick Boyd stayed at FAU, they could have been right back in the conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean? But had Nick Boyd stayed at San Diego State, maybe he gets them over the hump against Troy or GCU this year. That's kind of the butterfly effect of NIL, and what that's done is that while I could be saying Nick Boyd has better options and that's good for him and he's making more money every step of the way, that's good for him. It does hurt the overall product, which is March Madness. Because while, yeah, we probably have a better Sweet 16 than we would have, the first 2 rounds are lessened because of it.
Right. But I mean, I just see it differently. The lowest seed that's ever won the NCAA tournament is an 8 seed. And that was in 1985 with Villanova. So I think there's this misconception that, we're not getting these massive upsets. Those teams, even if they pull off a massive upset or 2, don't win national championships. And
by the way, we got High Point this year. We should all be excited about that.
I mean, we saw some upsets. VCU is 11 seed, Texas 11 seed. Are any of those teams Cinderellas? No. Like Texas plays in the SEC. That is not a Cinderella story that they're an 11 seed. They've played all the top teams throughout the year. I just am a fan of bigger matchups. Like Duke versus St. John's, a fun matchup. Tom Izzo versus Dan Hurley in Michigan State and Connecticut is a fun matchup. Maybe I just care about the mid majors and the less more. I don't need to see some random school that we're going to hear of for 1 year. To your point, they're all going to get picked apart in the offseason by NIL. I just think people are looking at this as NIL is destroying the sport. I think NIL is making college football and college basketball better.
I wouldn't go that far in the argument. I think that there was a sweet spot before NIL came around, but the transfer portal was just as bad. And we'll see where this goes. But I will say I've thoroughly enjoyed watching every second of this year's March Madness. I think we've gotten some excellent games.
The ratings are up.
Can we talk about the Vanderbilt buzzer beater, the half court heave? How close that was to just totally altering everything. It was incredible, man. We've had awesome moments. High Point had their time.
And think about that. In college football this year, Indiana, the most losing school in college football history, wins a national championship.
And they turned that program around within 2 years.
Nebraska basketball, not football, where the entire NIL collective is going to, by the way. If there is millions of dollars which are getting poured into Nebraska Cornhusker football or the school, they are going to the football team because that is a religion out there in Nebraska. And yet the basketball team is in the Sweet 16 right now. So this whole, we're just getting the same teams. We're actually getting a lot of different teams playing in both college football and college basketball. Who knew that Nebraska would be in the Sweet 16? Who knew that Indiana would win a national championship over the U? If you had told people 30 years ago that Indiana would beat Miami in college football in a national championship game, they would have called you crazy. Can the NIL go too far in terms of kids breaking their contracts left and right? Yes. But I'm all for more blue-blooded matchups. I think it creates more entertainment down the stretch than just seeing some random team that I swear on a map, I cannot tell you where the college is.
Now, the hope is, and if we want to bring this back to local, is that this new iteration of the Pac-12, which did take the best basketball schools from the Mountain West, and it took Gonzaga, this new iteration of the Pac-12 can be thought of in that ilk, and that the NIL money can grow to be competitive with what we're seeing right now. Like, can San Diego get to $6 million? That's basically what I'm looking at. Can the basketball program get to $6 million? And then all of a sudden you're right back in the conversation.
And by the way,
even because you got Dutch as the coach, $5 million would probably do the trick, but you can't go at it with 3.
I mean, and can we all stop pretending like this wasn't happening for years?
Right. It's been in the works.
I mean, people are like, the NIL now, these schools are paying money. Duke, $12 million roster. Really? What do you think? Kansas was getting investigated for Zion Williamson, and he didn't go to Kansas. He went to Duke.
Do we all remember that Rick Pitino had to leave the sport for a couple years?
Right.
Just
because
throwing
there's
that out there.
duffel bags of money in the lot in the parking lot. I mean,
Rick Pitino also, it was something with strippers, wasn't it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Some recruiting practices.
I'm sorry. Right. The Lane Kiffin special.
Yeah, exactly right. It is San Diego Sports 760. Take our final break here. On the other side, we will react to the potential City Connect jerseys because we got like 5 or 6 texts about it. People have some serious thoughts. I actually might have a differing opinion on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. For a final time here on San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John Schaefer going to be taking over then. Man, I just did a deep dive on some of the new food that's going to be at Petco Park this year with opening day coming up on Thursday. They got a new braised beef short rib.
You're really ordering braised beef short rib at a ball game?
A sandwich? Hell yeah, brother. That's like a tri-tip sandwich, except better. I'm pretty ready for baseball food to make its way back into my life. All right. Before we get out of here, funny article just came out talking about the highest or most expensive, least expensive opening day tickets around baseball. Dodgers were at, what was it, Sammy? Like
$196, highest price ticket.
That's the lowest price ticket to get in.
Right.
$196.
That's sitting up top in the third deck or the pavilion.
And then the Miami Marlins were $19 to get into the ballpark. Just for
and the Angels.
Curiosity, I went and looked up what it would be to get into the Padres. Gallagher Square, you can get in for $60. There's still 4 or 5 spots available in Gallagher Square. And the 300 level in section 321, you can get in for $80 as of right now.
Like, this should be a lesson to teams like the Angels and teams like the Marlins, that their whole, we're not going to spend any money because we want to be above water. You see what happens with the Dodgers? You put a product out on the field that people want to see, and you're charging $196 to have horrible seats in the top of the third deck or in the pavilion. You can't even see anything. Like, do people not understand that? And the Marlins are out here trying to cut costs left and right so they can be in the green. And no one cares the Miami Marlins have opening day. Or the Angels. People care about the Padres?
Well, I mean, if you look at the opening day payment calculations, I think the Marlins are like spending like $80 million on their roster this year. The Dodgers are spending like $400 million.
That's what I'm saying. Is why,
right? But that's gonna be enough to make up the difference,
right? But I'm saying if these owners, I'm not saying they're spending like the Dodgers, but some of these teams that spend zero money at all. This is not the Padres. Padres spend a lot of money. I'm talking about teams that are at the bottom of the barrel. Angels, Marlins, A's, teams that refuse to spend any money whatsoever. This is what happens when no one wants to attend your games. If you just put a better product on the field, spent a little bit more money, then you could make some of this back in ticket prices. I mean, it
is the one thing that Peter Seidler proved without a doubt during his lifetime.
100%.
Because I went to Padres games before Peter was the sole chairman.
They couldn't give away tickets in 2012.
You were in high school here, Sammy. When you were in high school in San Diego, how easy was it to get the best seats in the world at Petco?
I remember them Will Myers was the next savior.
When I first moved to San Diego, I'm not even kidding you. This is how people describe Petco Park. It is a really cool bar with a baseball game in the background.
Right. That's what
that you could get in for cheap.
And Peter Seidler saw that, hey, when you put stars out here, in Tatis and Machado, and you get Merrill and guys like that, like, and you put a product on the field that people want to see, then all of a sudden Petco Park is the place to be every night the Padres are playing. It's just so many.
I feel like $80 is kind of a steal to get in.
I mean, MLB, so many MLB. It's the only sport, major sport, that you have certain owners who are not even trying to win.
Nah, it happens in every sport. NFL has it too with the Raiders.
But the Raiders spent money left and right in the offseason.
Yeah, they did. But
just because they're not good doesn't mean they're not trying to win.
Right. But there are teams that will historically spend less than other teams. And that's on everything. That's on facilities. Look at the Cardinals. That's on payroll. Now they have a salary floor, so they have to hit a certain amount. But
right in the NFL, in NBA, you don't have a salary floor problem. Teams are spending enough money. Right. To your point, you can spend more on facilities.
Yeah, you think about like Robert Kraft bought 2 planes for the Patriots at one point. Like there are teams that do more for their players than other teams.
But they're also not leaving millions of dollars of potential position players on the field. That doesn't happen in the NFL and the NBA.
That is why baseball's heading for a lockout. All right, really quick, because the text line was buzzing about this and we haven't gotten to it. Did you see the leaked City Connect jerseys?
Yeah. Keep my money.
Okay. I mean, I didn't buy the other one either. So here's what I will say. I like them better than I like the teal and blue, the ones that they had for the last few years.
Really? I thought those were cooler than this one.
I think these are cool too. They got a little Dios de los Muertos vibe to it. They do look like Houston Astros ripoffs. That's what I would say.
My thing is, I just don't want to, when I'm watching a Padre game this year, to have 30,000 commercials on the MLB TV app.
Oh, that's going to happen.
I mean, it drives me through the roof. I'm like, I get it. You want us to buy the jersey.
Here's my problem with the City Connect jersey is it just doesn't look like a Padres jersey. That's my biggest issue with
It's not
it.
even their colors.
No, I get it if it's a Dios de los Muertos thing, and maybe I don't know the culture behind it and what the exact connection is to San Diego outside of we are right next to Mexico. But the patch on the arm looks cool, I guess. The San Diego looks cool, I guess. It just doesn't really look like a baseball jersey even, and it's very plain. So you went total opposite. You went from having a crazy crowded jersey with a bunch of different colors all over the place to the Houston Astros away jerseys. That's all you did.
Yeah, I'm saving my money on that.
Man, remember how like the City Connect jerseys had an opportunity to be so cool.
Also, real quick,
the Colorado Rockies did it perfectly, having the skyline. Like that's what you should do. I don't know.
The Padres have great jerseys, like normal.
Yeah, they do
normal jerseys, and they mess with it with this nonsense. I'm like, I don't understand it.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. John Schaefer is coming up next. He'll have more of those tickets to see Slightly Stupid. We will too on tomorrow's show. See you then.